Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai Satcharitra, an Insight. Episode 109. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, we have been listening to the astounding Leelas of Baba related to protection from snakes, which significantly validates the all-pervasiveness and omniscience of Baba. Baba has authenticated his presence in all living and non-living things, which was realized by the devotees of Baba. The great philosophies penned in the scriptures have been practiced by Baba in a very simple manner at Shirdi. He didn't preach those philosophies, rather applied it during his sojourn in Shirdi, which enabled the simple devotees to observe and adopt the same in their day-to-day life. Innumerable devotees of Baba had experienced many miracles of Baba in their life. As assured, Baba has protected them at various circumstances from many unforeseen dangers. These experiences have granted them the greatest spiritual wisdom, that is, to see Baba in everything and in everyone. Baba's benevolence and protection were showered upon his devotees even after his Mahasamadhi. I would like to quote the 922nd verse from Sri Sai Sahasranamavali composed by Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji, which reflects Baba's protection from snakes. Om Sarpadi Bhayaharine Namaha, which means salutations to the one who removes the fear and obviates dangers from serpents, etc. And in 923rd verse, Swamiji glorifies the omnipresence of Baba. Om Sarpa Rupepya Vashtitaya Namaha, which implies salutations to the one who is immanent even in the bodies of serpents. Hemant Panji has stated in Sri Sai Satcharitra that the list of experiences of devotees rescued from snake bites is very long and is impossible to discuss all of them here. Thus, I am narrating very few in this chapter. Though there are various paths to reach God, the universal doctrine is to see God in everything. This is considered as the core principle of all the spiritual practices. Of course, this thought will be spontaneous in a person whose mind is ever immersed in God consciousness, and none can pretend to have attained this spiritual insight. It has to reflect in every thought of ours at all circumstances to every animate and inanimate thing. Baba utilized every single opportunity to impart such great spiritual truths in the minds of his devotees. In the previous episode, we listened to the astounding Leela of Baba in the life of Sri Balaji Patil Nevaskar. He is a fervent devotee of Baba, realized that it was Baba in the guise of a snake, was thrilled to see Baba in his cowshed, offered milk to the snake, sat next to it, and conversed as though he would do to Baba in Dwarakamai. Similar astonishing miracle transpired in Coimbatore at Nagasai Mandir. This is one of the oldest and divine shrines of Shirdi Sai Baba, permeated with Baba's divine consciousness, and the first Sai temple in the state of Tamil Nadu. Whereas the world's first Sri Sai Baba Mandir was built at Bivpuri by Mr. K. R. Pradhan as per the dictum of Baba while Baba was in his mortal coil. Puji Sri Narasimha Swamiji, by his tireless preaching for almost 2 decades, during which he travelled almost the entire country, made the divine name of Sri Sai Baba as familiar as that of Lord Shiva and Vishnu. Sri Narasimha Swamiji authored many Sai literatures. He travelled far and wide personally, interviewing the devotees of Baba and collecting the Sai experiences that occurred in their life during and after his sojourn in Shirdi. In the year 1939, Sri Narasimha Swamiji, along with few more ardent devotees, started Sai movement to propagate the life and teachings of Sri Sai Baba. To extend his activities to every nook and corner of the country, Swamiji established the first institution in Coimbatore. The late Sri C. Varadaraja Ayya donated about 1 acre of land at Metupalayam Road, and a thatched shed was erected at the donated land to house the Sri Sai Baba Mission, which was later named as Sri Sai Baba Madam. Every Thursday there shall be Sai Bhajan, and it was open for all for darshan. In 1943, on the evening of the 7th of January, Thursday, a fabulous miracle happened. A shining and lustrous cobra, small but possessing an unusually big hood with divine marks of Tripundra, Shankar, and Chakra, appeared before Baba's picture when the bhajan was going on in full swing to the accompaniment of drums, cymbals, etc., with all the lights on. Usually, snakes would not come to a noisy place, but to the contrary, and to everyone's astonishment, the snake came to the place where the devotional songs were sung by the devotees at the peak of their voice in divine joy, accompanied by music. The serpent stood there in a pose of worship, completely entranced in Baba music. Waving of lights, aratis, etc. had no effect on the nerves of the cobra. People around, who had swelled into a crowd of a few hundred, stood there in awe and wonder at the wondrous sight of the cobra with spread head. There was absolutely no fear in the minds of the people for the snake. The proverb that even a battalion of soldiers of valor shiver at the scythe of a cobra was falsified. Young and old, women and children in thousands began to pour into the spacious land of the Bhajan Madam to witness the snake that lingered in the same spot for 17 hours. Devotees of Baba began to shower baskets after baskets of flowers in worshipful reverence for the serpent. The cobra was virtually submerged in a mound of flowers, but even then he was immobile and led the devotees to offer their worship. On the second day of the serpent's advent, photographer came to take a picture of the snake in its majesty, but The latter was immersed under heaps of flowers. No one had the courage to go near the spot where the cobra was lodged and clear the flowers. The only course open to them was to pray. Lo, the snake jumped out of the flowers heaps and posed for the photograph as if in answer to the prayers of the multitude. One and all were sure for the first time that it was Sai Baba in the guise of a snake. The devotees then prayed with fervor and faith to the Naga Sai. Naga in Tamil means serpent. They pleaded him to move out and enable them to resort to their routine worship of Baba in the Madam. Then the immobile Sai Naga showed signs of movements, went around Sri Sai Baba's picture and slowly marched out into the open, disappeared into the bushes where later an ant hill appeared. The place where the Nagasai disappeared is held as the holy ground by devotees, and from that day onwards, Shirdi Sai Baba in Coimbatore is worshipped as Sri Nagasai. Another speciality of this mandir is that the stick that has been used by Baba has been brought from Shirdi. The holy stick is being used to bless all devotees who visit the shrine. Many magazines wrote articles on this astounding miracle, and an editorial with the picture of snake immersed in heaps of flowers in front of the portrait of Baba was also published by Sai Sudha magazine. These pictures were widely circulated, and we can also find a copy of this picture in Sri Shirdi Sai Baba temple at Mylapore, Chennai. This Leela was the talk of the town then. Advent of Sri Nagasai was also published in holy book Sri Sai SATCHARITRA Tamil, chapter 35. This amazing miracle of Baba has been exemplified by Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji in his Sai Sahasranamavali, verse 702, Om Bhujanga Rupa Mavishya Sahasra Jana Pujitaya Namaha. Salutations to the one who took the form of a serpent and received the worship of thousands of people. This Leela is similar to the experience of Balaji Patil Nevaskar, as in both the cases, Baba appeared in the form of snake and also made the devotees realize that it was he in the disguised form of a snake and accepted their offerings. I am sure all those listening to this episode would be eager to visit this divine Nagasai temple at Coimbatore. Now, let us listen to the protection of Baba to his fervent devotee Mahal Sapati, whom he lovingly called as Bhagat. This has been narrated by Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji in his Charters and Sayings, Wide Leela 533. Baba spoke thus, Bhagat, two serpents are moving about near your house. As always, Mahalsapati was returning to his home from Dwarakamai, and he was very mindful of his steps as Baba has forewarned him. He saw one serpent exactly in front of his door and got rid of it. Now, Mahalsapati was cautiously looking around to see if there is another one, and the second one was found beneath his pillow. Though in some Sai literatures it is mentioned that the second serpent was found at the neighbor's house, as per Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji, it was found under Mahalsapati's pillow. In another instance, Baba directed Mahalsapati to come with a lantern that night and added, "You will meet thieves at the village gate." Those days there were no street lights in Shirdi, and the population of snakes was high. So People must be watchful of their steps when they go out during night. Hence, they carried a lamp when they went out to avoid stepping on a snake, as that would lead them to get the trouble of experiencing a snake bite, which eventually may result in death of that person. As per Baba's decree, Mahalsapati brought a lamp. In the above instruction to Mahalsapati, Baba used the word village gate. What does that mean? Usually, there is a territory for every village, and that border is known as Ves in Maharashtra. The villagers usually bury a stone to mark the territory. I am sure all the Sai devotees will be excited to know the territory of Shirdi. Let us find out the same in our next episode and listen to more fabulous Leelas of Sainath Maharaj. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.